Hello, Richard from budgetguitarist.com. Today is a bit of a serious video. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. As somebody who has suffered from depression my entire life, I thought I have a little bit of a unique perspective when it comes to music and depression compared to people who are not musicians. So, in addition to all the rest of the crap that we have to face as human beings with society, on top of that, if you play music, depending on how seriously you take yourself as a musician, there can be some things that can kind of poison the water hole, so to speak, to quote Woody. And I think I poisoned just about every water hole I came to. And I just wanted to make this video, and I figure if one person out there watches this thing and can take anything away from it, then it'll be worth it. The YouTube algorithm is going to hate me for this. I'm not going to get thousands of views on this video. I probably won't get very many at all, but like I said, if it helps one person, then worth making. I really have identified as a musician. When I was 5, I was playing music by ear on a toy piano. And my parents got me a bigger toy organ, and I complained when I ran out of keys, and then they got me a piano, and etc. They were very supportive. I got into an all-original band. We did all-original music. Most of the songs were mine. I sang most of the songs, played keyboards and guitar. And into college, and we did gigs, and we were in some recording studios, etc., and so on. And I loved it all. We broke up. I think it was my senior year of college, but I'm a little hazy on when that was. And my thought was, if I didn't make it as some kind of like a musical artist, I could just work in the music business. I got a bachelor degree in music business, basically. So I got out. I figured, well, I'll work in music retail, and I just hated retail. I just hated it. It was not for me. From the time I was 25 till the time I was 40, I think I still harbored this illusion that like maybe one day, maybe I'd write a hit for somebody else if I couldn't do it myself. And I tried really hard to write good songs, and I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't seem to do anything. I think I probably wrote 5 decent songs from the time I was 25 to the time I was 40. Now, as somebody who identified as a musician, this was fairly devastating to me. Other areas of my life were going great, career-wise, relationship-wise, but as a musician, every time I tried to do something and I was unsuccessful, I just felt terrible. And music was basically making me miserable because I didn't, I felt like a failure. So at some point in time, the thing that helped me was technology. Back in the 80s, if you wanted to make an album, right? Well, first of all, you had to have a band. And second of all, you had to have a lot of money to go into a recording studio, or you had to have a contract. I mean, yeah, if everybody had a job, you could all pool your money. You could go and make a recording. Maybe you could have 100 records made, which you could try to sell at gigs in like your regional area. But that's as far as it was ever going to go. 2 things changed that. One was GarageBand, which was, I think, the first easy-to-use digital audio workstation for the computer that made sense to me. I was like, wait a minute. I could make my own album with the computer? Why not? And then the other was CD Baby, which is a music distribution service for artists. And I got on that pretty early. And I saw like you could make your own music and submit it to CD Baby. They would sell your CDs, and they would also get your music into iTunes, which is where all the big name artists were. I thought that was fantastic. And, it is a great service. So a couple of people gave me a lot of encouragement. And this is what sort of helped me break out of my depression. I was trying so hard, and I was feeling so bad about just not making it in the music business, that I couldn't even, I could barely write anything. So I recorded on GarageBand a song called Pieces on the Ground, which ended up on my first album. And I played it for some people, and uh, a couple of people, two people told me that they really, really liked it and they thought it was really good. One of them was my buddy Rob, who was the guitar player in our college band. He said, I think this is the best song you've ever written. I mean, that really meant a lot. And so I continued to write for the album, and I discovered something interesting. The second I gave up on the whole idea of making it, the second I just said, you know what? If nothing else, I'm going to make an album and I'm going to be able to point to it and say, I made that album. That's me. I was able to achieve that, even if nobody ever listened to it. And as soon as I took pressure off myself, I was able to write again, and I was writing songs. So, like I said, I wrote maybe 5 decent songs from the ages of 25 to 40. And then I wrote 5 albums worth of material from the age of 40 to 55. So I guess the moral of the story is this. I identified as being a musician. It was who I was. It wasn't what I did, it was who I was. So therefore, if I had failure as a musician, I was a failure as a person. And that's ridiculous, right? Now, I still identify as a musician, and music it's super important to me, but I make a living as a web developer in education. That stems from my computer programming hobby from my senior year of high school. If you're a guitar player, you're a musician, you consider yourself to be, music is my life kind of person like I was, you are more than one thing. And if you're down on yourself because you're comparing yourself to other people, I commonly hear people say, oh, I watched this video of Joe Satriani and it made me want to quit. It made me want to give up. Well, that's a good sign that you're making these unhealthy comparisons between yourself and other people. Music can be a great form of self-expression. And I don't care whether you're writing your own original music or whether you're just learning your favorite song and you're just singing it in your bedroom. That's still self-expression. Even if you're just playing the chords along with a CD or an MP3, you're still expressing yourself. Your personality is in your playing. And there's a difference between putting pressure on yourself because you don't want to be lazy, forcing yourself to practice scales, for example, versus I have to succeed or I'm a loser, right? Because that's just silly. I know a lot of people who took a different route. A friend of mine moved to Nashville for 5 years and then left super discouraged, very discouraged, because he got there and he realized that he was not at the same level of talent as other people who live there. I mean, if you go to Nashville, there's a pretty good chance that your waitress can write better songs and play better guitar than you do. And who cares? Because music is not a competition. This is self-expression. It's an art form. It's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Well, except for practice. You have to practice. That's not always fun. Do your scales. I think it's a really healthy thing to set musical goals, and to push yourself, but not to tie your own happiness to those goals, or to say, well, music is my life, so therefore I have to succeed in music to be a successful person. No matter how good the songs you write are, that's not why people are going to remember you. They're going to remember you as a good friend, or a good husband, or a good parent, or whatever the case may be. So I guess just to kind of reiterate, once I let everything go, and once I said, I don't care that I'm not going to get a recording contract. I want to do this for me. I want to sit down and make the best music I can and put it out into the world for me. And it's kind of funny, my first album that I put out, some of the tracks did get licensed. And so there was a summer back around, I think probably 2004, 2005, somewhere around there, that if you worked at Walgreens or you work for Kroger, you probably heard one of my songs. One of my songs they licensed was called The First Time. That's on my first album. And you probably want to kill me because you heard that thing a million times and you're sick of it. But I mean, you have to understand, for me, like going from I can't write music, I'm a failure, to getting music licensed and distributed, and seeing people, like going into my web profile and seeing people all over the world, like either downloading or listening to some of the songs that I've done. I mean, that's, in my mind, that was super successful. But, at this point in time, I'm doing what I want to do. Whether people like it or not, I can't control that, If you want to be an artist, nobody's stopping you. There's things that you have to learn if you want to make your own music. It's very helpful to know how to operate a computer. But there's YouTube videos that will show you everything. There's YouTube videos that will teach you how to do YouTube videos. So I've got this whole deal now where I've got like a website, budgetguitarist.com, where I write about guitars and sometimes other people contribute. I've got this YouTube channel, which I started during COVID lockdown, which I have to say, I look forward to doing these videos every week. It's just a blast for me. This is another form of self-expression. So if you do know somebody who's in that position where they're kind of feeling like a failure because they've attached their self-worth as a person to their success in music, you should give them some positive encouragement. But sometimes all they need is somebody to tell them, hey, what you're doing is good. And you should just do it. Who cares if anybody likes it? Just do it. That can really, really help. That can be more helpful than you can know. And if you are that person and you're recording your own music and maybe you're not getting the kind of positive feedback you would like from your friends, there are several online communities of like-minded musicians where you can upload your music, and people will give you constructive criticism, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you're really happy with what you're doing, then I guarantee you there's going to be some other people out there who also like it. Your goals are your goals. All that I'm saying is, if you find yourself getting depressed because of music, this is supposed to be self-expression. It's supposed to be fun. If it's not fun, you're doing it wrong. Well, except for the scales part. That part's maybe not fun. I don't know. Some people like it. I don't. But probably why I can't play fast. If you have any questions, or if you want me to check out your music, send me an email at richard@budgetguitarist.com, because you can't post a URL in the comments section. I'd be more than happy to give it a listen, and offer some encouragement. If music is making you miserable, email me. I'd be happy to talk to you. I will help if I can. There are some people who really need to talk to somebody who has more professional experience than just a friend. And depression is one of these things where people don't always understand. They look at your life and they say, well, what do you have to be upset about? And it's like, life is an individual journey and nobody else is on the exact same journey that you are. If you are a musician, you are already in an international community. So yeah, email me if you want. If I can help, I'll help. In the meantime, just remember, you're an individual person. You are you. You are not just your guitar playing. You are not just your music. So there you go. That was my ham-fisted attempt at trying to be helpful. Obviously, I'm not really good at this, but there are a lot of people who are in the same position you are in. Regardless of if music is making you depressed, I guarantee you there are other people in the exact same boat. And you can find those people and you can talk to them. Or you can email me. I'd be happy to talk. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, we're going to be back with more guitar stuff, more guitar crap, as Tony would say. And as always, if you enjoy this channel, please like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, all that stuff. And I will see you again next Friday at 5.